Hi guys, welcome back to Beyond the Pulpit podcast. My name is Tracy Ann and this is episode 2, part 2. In case you've not watched part 1, kuna link iko hapa juu, don't worry, we've got you. You have that. You can watch the first part of our interview with Debs, who is our guest. So on to part 2, we are going to focus mostly on her career, especially in what she has studied. Now we are going to get to know Debs in the corporate world, or rather in the work environment. Yeah, so we are going to focus on that. So I know you're going to learn a lot, not a bit. You're going to learn a thing or two. So yeah, you better watch out. We can get right into it, right? So unaweza tuanzishia na, you said that when, okay, in part 1. This is why it's important to watch part 1. You said that while you were working, while you're studying at USIU, kulikuwa na hiyo job yenye ulikuwa nafanya. Until they managed to pay your school fees, and that is what sort of introduced you. You are studying data and all of that, but e job pia iliku sort of introduced to the job that you were doing. So now, after campus, you said you worked at a bank. So job ya bank ilikuwa data entry. That's it.
Pretty much.
And then you've said you've worked on startups. In the current Kenya that we're living in, I know a lot of people talk about employment and lack thereof. So can you tell us a process yako ya starting applying for jobs? Did you wait for long? Did you have to send your papers to so many people? Are you a Nepo baby? You know?
No, I am not. You watched
Connections. Connections. Maybe you knew someone, maybe from campus, who told you, leta karatasi zako, and then that's what happened. So how did you get your first job?
So my first job was an internship first. It was still at the bank.
The same bank where you got the job?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happened was that USIU has a collaboration with some companies. So that collaboration just means at a period of time, they'll take students. So I told you I did 3.5 years. So the period between nikimaliza classes, because you have to do an internship. Yes, internship you have to do. So that course was the only one that was remaining. So kulikuwanga na, they posted on the notice boards that wase wanaweza apply bank. So they give an email, nikatuma, tukaitwa a bunch of us, tukaenda tukafanya interview. We did an exam kwanza. I remember that was a very interesting exam. Anyway,
Interview
exam because we were like a bunch of us.
Yeah, USIU.
Yeah,
bank. The bank sasa. Okay.
Yes, because they pick you, and then nikafanya your exam. Then I passed, and then now you're posted to like branch or wherever pali uko based on what you studied. So yes, nikaingia internship. The internship was 3 months. 3 months ikakuwa 6 months. 6 months ikakuwa contract job. Haikuwa job kwanza because it was a contract. It was like a 6-month contract. So I think I did that for 2 or 3 times. And then now it became like, now they were like, we have hired you. Now you have an official letter. And you join the people who pay taxes. So yeah.
So for how long did you work at the bank? Collected together with you, combine pamoja na hizo contracts unasema ulizishikanisha?
Should be about 4.5 years.
4 years.
About 4.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what led you to leave? And najua unasema it was mostly data entry, so it became like, it was monotonous, I guess.
I was bored, yeah.
It was
bored out of my
boring.
mind, yeah.
Okay.
Nilikuwa najiuliza nilienda shule ku enter data, and let me just say
keyboard.
yes, kufinya keyboard as our president says. But let me say that, as I said, like there's no experience that is a loss. You have to learn from every experience, right? So hata hiyo naambianga wasi, hata ukiambiwa uende ufanye photocopy, go learn how to photocopy. It's a skill people don't know how to do.
Facts.
Use it, right?
Yeah.
Ukiambiwa whatever it is you're learning, learn. At your internship, learn. Do it with thanksgiving in your heart. Because First Thessalonians says, always give thanks, for this is the will of Christ Jesus in us. So always do it with thanksgiving, and there's no wasted lesson. So for me, that's how I came at it. And I remember I used to come to my boss, naambia, sasa si tunafanya ngai, try tufanye hivi innovatively. Then they've been there for so many years. They're like, nini ni wanatsumbua. But I'd be like, nita try. And then another thing I did is when I was like, I can't be here. I think at the 1 year mark, I was like, I don't want to be here for a long time. So what I used to do is like, there's a group of guys wa finance, a section, walikuwa wa analysis. Na nilikuwa nimefanya analysis in school, like we'd done Excel, a bit of it, not as intensely. So nikaenda nikakaa nao nikamwambia cheki mimi nataka kulearn kenye mnadu. So mtakuwa mkinipatia project, nitakuwa nikikaa na nyinyi. Nataka kulearn. So I used to stay after work maybe for like an hour, 2 hours, naenda na learn. Okay, namwambia sawa nimefanya hivi. Nimelearn. Right? Because like there was not really for me, the Lord hadn't opened a door for me to grow in the bank. Because nilikuwa nimetry but it wasn't working. So I was just like, okay, so acha ni learn skills basi. So when I learned the skills, then I was able to apply for my next job. And those skills I learned from those people, in terms of like data analysis and, just growing there is where I applied it. So that's how I was able to leave the job.
Bank.
Yeah, and I remember this thing has stuck with me. When nilikuwa natoka, there's some guy who, I can't even remember who it was. Akaniambia unajua unaenda unaingia startups. Ukiingia startups najua hakuna job stability nini. You know that fear, but I was just like, I will still go because I'm young. I can't do this. I don't have like kids. Sijui someone to worry about. So I was just like, mimi nitafanya. Wacha tu.
You're flexible.
Ikiumana, ndarudi kwa baba yangu ng'ambe dad.
Unapendwa home.
Ninataka chakula tena.
Okay.
Na roof. So, yeah.
So that's how you landed into your first startup. So what, behind the scenes, umetuambia where you're working right now, and what your company is about. So is it the same thing that you're the first startup you worked at? Same thing, very different? So what position did you apply for ukiingia kwa this startup? You said at a startup unaweza kwa HR na uko na degree ya data.
That's true. Unaweza. Yeah. Anything is possible. So like throughout my career nimekuwa nachukua skills na learn because I'm like I want to learn. So whatever I learn I always apply it in my next job because I'm like okay so nimeacquire these skills. Let me look at what the job market is offering. That's what I was saying, like mine hasn't been a straight path where I'm like, I'm always going to be an accountant because that's what I've studied. But it was just always, I've acquired these skills. Where else can I apply them? Like if I put a job description, nitaiweka wapi? So that's sort of been my thing. So to answer your question, no, it wasn't exactly what I'm doing now. Is not exactly, but a lot of stuff I've learned, I'm bringing to the current role that I hold. So yes, so hapo nilikuwa nafanya, I was the payments analyst. So basically nilikuwa na combine hizo because what I was doing was data entry for finance in the bank. So now it was now analysis of payments and managing a team that does that. In the job, I didn't stay there for long. I stayed 3 months. Then I left. Then I was out of work for, let's say 3 months, September maybe to December. Then January, I joined the next organization that I joined for. And that was very interesting. Up until I think I became a jack of every single trade. Because people used to leave every other day. Na mbona mdosi, check ile system, when do unafanya? Miss Jaijua, I don't even know anything about it. Na kaneo mse, 1 week, nimeanza kulearn. I have no clue. So I learned so much and I had to learn. I had to teach myself. Because hakuna mse ati kukaa na wewe hapo. Ni startup. Kazi lazima isonge. Yes. But I love the startups I've worked for because I love the mission. We are actually making a difference and impact in the world. Yes. So, yes, to answer your question.
So that's the second job. Yenye ulika 3 months. Why 3 months?
Yeah.
From 4 years to 3 months.
I know.
Nilifanya job, you're like, hey,
yeah. There was just, we didn't agree. The boss, we didn't agree. It was, I think as Pasi anasema corporate was, ilikuwa hivyo. There's a lot of nepotism there. So it was, I don't want to use cliches, but it wasn't the greatest working environment. So yeah.
Okay. And then now you got to, where you're working right now, it's you, kwa rank iko number what? Juu inaka umework sana. Kwa rank, juu ulianza kwa bank.
And then the startup I went for 3 months. Then this other one that I did 18 months. So that's a year and a half. And then my next job, I did 4 years, about 4 years, but in different roles. And then now my current role. Yes.
Okay, so this is the fifth company.
Yeah.
Fifth organization you're working
Yes.
for.
Yes.
Zote. Okay. So now on to the kind of the skills you've said umelan uli pick from working at the bank or even at a USIU ukifanya hiyo job ya data with the lady that you've talked about. Are these skills that you learned online? You've umesema unapatana na msee juu, especially at the startup unaambiwa cheki learn. Hiyo ni kazi yako ama unaenda huko kwingine unaambiwa umsee ayuko so learn these skills. So are these things you voluntarily wanted to ama circumstances pushed you to learning them and then now you're getting to apply them in this?
Yeah. In my so the startup 3 months, the next job, the 1.5 years, hiyo ikuwa voluntary. Watu walikuwa na quit. Alafu unaambiwa na CEO, when do utakuwa in charge of? So I'm just like,
So
I
you
don't
are
even
wearing
know.
so many hats.
Everyone was wearing so many hats because guys used to quit, like the turnover was really high.
Why?
Yes.
Why actually?
Yeah, I won't mention the company.
Yeah,
but
it's
if
okay.
you
It's
Google
okay.
it,
We
you
wouldn't,
will know.
we wouldn't.
If you Google it, you will know. Like, it was just like a bad working environment. The pay wasn't great. Like all those things that make people want to stay were not there. There was no incentive to want to stay. So, people are young. When they're young, they want to move around.
Job
So,
hop,
yeah. Walikuwa na move around. Na mimi, Mungu wako amefungua. Nilikuwa na apply, but naambiwa, I'm sorry, we regret. We don't want your skills. I'm like, sawa. Acha ni learn skills ingine. So, yes, I did a lot of... nilikuwa tu the default. By the way, at some point, my boss left. Two of my bosses. So like there was a CEO. They all quit. So me was like reporting to the CEO and I'm like, na reportaje kwa CEO na mimi ni like the least. My friend, nafanya nini na wewe hapa hivi? So it was just about learning. So nililearn. You learn a lot of skills, presentation. You have to build your confidence. You have to defend reasons why you're, when in analysis, you're telling the company, this is what you need to do. Why? Why are you telling them to do that? Ukifanya back-end coding, your system. I was managing a system called Navision. You have to know, ni kwa nini inakaa hivi. System imeanguka, imebreak. Manze, when do we fix? YouTube. Call watu, msei kitwe. Na learn. So it was just like both voluntary and involuntary. And it has been a good journey, I think, for me. Because I've learned a lot. I think the only thing I would be afraid of doing now is operating on a human being. I feel like I can even fly a plane. It's not that. Like, you can learn how to do anything. Because you see, sometimes nakonga, this is a big mountain, I cannot get to it. But like, you can do anything. Of course, for me, like, when it comes to life, wezi mess na life, I'm saying. So, you know, siwezi jaribu. But the rest of it, you can try. You can try. I'm not saying flying a plane is easy. I'm just saying you can learn. There's nothing impossible.
You've mentioned a lot of people job hopping. Is that something you would advise a young person to do? Like moving from one job to another?
I would say find your path. If you're comfortable and okay with where you are, fine. If you're not, then find something else interesting. As I said, you don't have to work in Kenya. Or you can work in Kenya for different companies all over the world. Right? Like all the barriers have been broken. So usijilimi tuseme, ni lazima tu nifanyie XYZ. You can be working for a company in Sweden and you work in Kenya and you get to travel. Or you can even travel to whatever country. The world is your oyster. Whatever you want to do, do it.
Okay.
Yes, as unto the Lord.
Yes.
Okay.
As unto the Lord.
It's interesting because with someone who has such a lot of experience in the corporate world, and I know that ukianza, right now you're still young and growing in your field. Na imagine kumekuwa na promotions in these places, like you've risen up the ranks or you've gotten certain positions even at a young age. Was that a challenge? Is your career or is your job uko kwenye unafanya kazi, is it a male dominated whatever, what do I call it?
Actually, how do you navigate situations where you're the only woman in the room?
Have you found yourself in that situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think, first of all, the world tells us that you have to act like a man. You don't have to. Just be yourself. So may I bring all my femininity naileta kwa room because those are the strengths that God has given me. So siezi kuwa ati I'm aggressive, you have to. No. There's ways to convince people, one with fact and merit, and God has put me there for a reason. And what I've learned is when you're starting off, even anywhere, in a new job, people don't know you, they won't trust you. They'll be like, "Sir, I'll a job." But now you have to prove yourself over time so that people are like, we go to you as the source of truth for, some of these decisions or ways of doing things, right? Because like in new places, lazima wambia, okay, I'm like the one who knows what we need to do in terms of like data and systems. So I need to advise different teams. But then mtu amezoea kufanya away venye amezoea utamwambiaje. So it's always building trust and being able to stay there and build the trust. So sometimes maybe mtu akona issue because I'm a woman, but I have always come at it not just as like I'm a woman. I've come here by merit. So let me tell you what I advise you, what needs to happen, and this is the reason I'm backing it. And people are respectful. So
they are.
Yeah.
So you've actually been have you faced discrimination because of a woman, of being a woman? Would you say that to your face? Like you've seen that clearly this man is not listening to me because I'm a lady and you're superior. Have you seen that?
I guess going back to self, like, me nakwanga msee hiyo ni shida yako. Like I've never really established, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm selling it. No, I have never thought of it. I'm just always like, what's the reason this person has? How can I convince them? Or how can I advise them or do my job? I'm always coming at it, ni job too. So akuna msee, I don't think anyone has called me out and said, because you're a woman, I will not listen to you. But I'm always like, sawa, those are your issues. Because I think as a believer, everyone has their weaknesses and you come at it, it's your challenge. It's sin. Hata mimi niko na sin.
Yeah.
So ka sin yako ni kudiscriminate people because of the issues. I've always been like, okay, how can I convince you? Because I know the way I look at it is there's stuff that I need to do. There's mountains at which I'll die at. I'm like, this we have to do this way, and because I know it had to push forward in the goal that we have. And then there's other things I'm like, it's fine, it's not the end of the world. So I've never really felt like that, even though I've worked with a lot of men. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you noticed any, Junana ulianza kufanya kazi kitambo, notice any, taiweka aje, any gender diversity since you started Nasahi? Any changes, any significant changes?
Were there more women back then? Are there more women right now in your field of work? That's the word they should use, field of work.
I mean, I think women are becoming, I've seen more women doing data analysis. I'm seeing more women, trying. But like what I would urge everyone is regardless. Unajua kuna, being a woman, I see a lot of stories online. This hasn't happened to me in person, but I see a lot of men complaining, say, we have like this tech person who's a woman, but she doesn't do well. So she was brought because of the, what is it called? Your pay equity. Like there's just that equity that needs to be there. I would challenge every woman as well as men is do everything and do it well. Execute it well. So ataka una feel your example ya umewak Korea and you're the only African there. Do it well. Because the thing is, all eyes are on you because you stand out like a sore thumb, unfortunately. And then people are judged. They judge Africans. They judge women because of you, right? So do it and do it well. Yes.
Okay.
Hii episode inafaa itwe women in tech.
Women
in tech. STEM.
Lol, no.
Yeah. Actually, when you nasema about boss, hata mimi where I used to work, our boss inani web design and hizo vitu zote, programming, coding, boss wetu mkubwa wetu ni a lady. Yeye ndio mdetli kabisa kwa kucode. Na ana lead a team of men. Hakuna hata single lady kwa team yetu. Yendo, but our boss used to be a lady. Yeah. So women in tech.
I mean, it's like power to them. So, aside from the lady that you mentioned from USIU, who you've really, in episode 1, part 1, mentioned, in your field of work, do you have any other mentors? Do you have a mentor at work? Do you have people that, maybe a lady or a guy, that you guys meet up and talk, and you just discuss things related to your field or any other thing in life? Do you have a mentor?
No, I don't have mentors.
Don't have anyone
Why?
who has impacted your career?
They have, for me, people take me under their wing
Okay.
and sort of direct, but it's not like a mentorship formal. We'll meet on Thursday at 5, have coffee, talk about
goodness.
this agenda. We have to talk about your life, your finances. No, I've never really had that. No.
But you've had people who've
Yes.
walked with you, like
Yes.
Ume mentioned
Yes.
me. I know.
Yes.
Pay in the bank, you said that you had a
Yes.
group of ladies
Yeah.
who.
It was, those group of ladies, also a group of men.
Okay.
Yes. Because I was like the youngest. Walikuwa wanaona kama mimi ni mtoto
Ka
wao.
sister kao kadogo.
Ati umefanya nini na pesa yako? Tunaenda kununua shamba. Wananipeleka sijui wapi. So that was really, really nice. So I wouldn't call them mentors per se in the strictest sense, but I've had a lot of people who've impacted my life. Yes, if you're using that term loosely, then yes, I've had a lot of mentors.
Okay, is it something that you'd advise someone to get?
Yes, absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah.
Is it a have to have?
You don't have to. I think get in spaces of people you're interested in. If you're interested in photography, get into that. Like, wase wanafanya, endo volunteer. Endo wamemsay, niaje enda kubebea kamera yako. Unaenda wapi? Wacha nitakufanyia hivi. Go do it. You will learn a lot from that. And then you'll see, do I like it? How do you grow in that? So get curious. And people are willing. If you're bringing value, always bring value. Usikue tu hapo unawambia, wacha nikupeleke. Na kuna kitu unafanya ukimpeleka. Your gig or whatever. So just go learn. That's how you learn. 2, be an ethical person. Be trustworthy. Hata ukipatiwa a small role, do it and do it well. That una bring value kwa huyo msee. So that's really important.
Okay.
Don't minimize anything. Hata kani the smallest of things. Hata kama umeambiwa panguza hizi meza. Do it and do it well. Waseme Tracy Ann ni ule msee mwenye alikuwa anafanya job kwa hii place. Yeah.
I remember ni vizuri amesema kuhusu value, because I remember our first guest Silas Ali mentioned, if you want to pitch an idea to someone, make sure anaona value gani una bring kwake, si kenye atakufanyia, muonyeshe hata mimi there's something I'm doing, so you're going to also benefit from it. Interesting. Umewacha episode juu
Nimesikia mention something, so I may watch.
okay. Ni gems.
Eh,
Okay, another thing about the workspace. Nasikianga wase wengi wakiulizwa, you've talked about mentors. So do you have any person who does not live in Kenya or you've not interacted with that is in your fieldwork that you look up to? Someone who has made it, a lady or a guy that you look up to and you're like, hakuna?
I say no because my role is very niche. Like most people wanakwanga either data ama systems. I don't know anyone who does data and systems. So most of the time I've had to train myself. Because it's like, okay, tunataka kumanage systems. That's not something really people are out there, unless sasa niende kwa LinkedIn angalia profile ya msee.
Yeah.
But it's not something that utapata podcast ya mtu mwenye anafanya systems. Very rarely. Like even studying in school, it's not something that's like really taught as such on how to manage systems. So that's why I'm saying like there's no one person, but like there are people who in their lives, in their work, maybe in HR or other places where I admire how they run their lives, how so I look up to them, but not like in my specific role. Yes.
okay. You mentioned hiyo time wasa walikuwa wanakuwa dissolved kwa hiyo place ulikuwa una work, that ulikuwa una report to CEO na uko huko chini, ulikuwa una approach aje building relationships and networking, especially being in the minority?
Yeah, hiyo ilikuwa tough because I remember nilikuwa nafanya job na msee mwenye alikuwa na feel ni kama ilikuwa tag of war. Mimi ndio nafaa kufanya, unafaa kufanya. So
it's almost like a competition.
yes. So they are built, as I said, I pick hills I die on and pick hills I don't die on. So I was just like, sawa, we fanya. Then I went and learned how to do that thing. The process that I was meant to do, we're meant to collect data, analyze, and sort of bring the CEO. So nilienda nikabuild bridges na umse hata kama ilikuwa hard right, nikamwambia okay sawa, so unafanya hivi, tuna need kudeliver, goal ni hii, tutafanyaje, tufanye. Pia nilikuwa na learn pia kutoka kwake because like it was sort of his expertise, just that my boss had left and so it was our team was doing it. So one, learn, two, execute and execute it well, and then have the boldness to present what you're saying, because kama mtu ametrust when you're the expert hapa, usiogope kuleta expertise yako. Kuja useme hata kama sio hivyo ndo nimeona na ni human. I think sometimes tunanganganika si human, right? It's just a human being you're talking to. So mwambie iko hivi na hivi, even ndo nimeona in your data. Okay, at least for me you have to back stuff with data. This is what I've seen. Yes, this is the way forward. And as you continue growing your experience, as I said, people will now start believing you and trusting your word as you continue to bring quality work too. Yeah.
Kenya nasema hata ni za backup. Nakumbuka our first episode guest akisema
ni about timidity. Are we thinking about the same thing? Okay.
Boss wake alikuwa anampea idea.
Alafu anaiona tu ako.
Anaona ujamaa. Yeah. Iko nje mbaya. But sasa he mentioned something, I'm trying to get the wording, when kana mgaslight.
Anakupatia idea alafu unaitwist.
Anatwist.
Unaitwist alafu unamcredit. I think now to break a bit of monotony of the questions, let's do a fun question. Do you watch movies?
Yeah.
Movies or series? Which one do you prefer?
I've become so discriminatory now. I would say movies.
Movies? Yes. So have you watched movies this year? Any? Okay. Name 5 movies. Top 5. Zenye uliwatch ukafeel. Producer, script writer, editor, everyone just did a magnificent job.
Okay, that one I'll go to a series. Kuna series flani, akisikumbuki hiyo series. Iko HBO. It was about Russia and the explosion, the nuclear. What is it called?
I don't know.
I forget the name. That was one of the best productions I've ever watched. It was smart. It was like a documentary, but still acting. And I could engage my mind. So I really loved it. Because like these days
nimeona amesema HBO nikaona hii crew yetu hapa najua ni pirates
wote.
Wanashindwa HBO.
HBO ni nini?
Wameza
Gujara.
Yes, sikumbuki ilikuwa inaitwaje.
I think atakumbuka. Akikumbuka when the episode ends tutawaandikia
hapo. Ama tuambie hapo kwa comment section.
Ama to show.
Ama mtu anajua aseme kwa comments.
Chernobyl, yes. Yes, thank you. Chernobyl.
We have someone in the crew who knows it. We have someone in the crew. So, Chernobyl. Yeah. That's your favorite. That's one that
series
you
can
actually
long
rewatch it,
time.
right?
Yes, I'm planning to rewatch it. Yes.
How many seasons?
No, it's just one season, and then I think it was like 5 or 6 episodes.
And
it was a mini series.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was it. Hakuna season 2.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's series. Any other movies that you've watched and they've given you something almost Chernobyl?
John Wick. I love John Wick. I'm waiting for the next release.
Okay.
Yes. Not that I love violence, but I love John Wick. I have watched him from the first movie to now. I think it's the 4th one. Yes.
Another one
coming out.
I did like 5.
5 is
so
a
said
lot.
Chernobyl. Okay,
yeah.
I'm not wrong.
It's actually
John
a place in Russia. John Wick. Hey, man, that list. This is funny. Napendanga Real Households of Kawangware. Wanakuanga na matusi special.
That one is okay.
Yes.
That one is okay. Support K.
Waliacha kushoot.
They should really bring it back.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah. There's another Nigerian. In Ukraine, Chernobyl. Sorry, my bad. Thanks. A series I've watched. I like Skinny Girl in Transit. It's a series.
Hey, that one I've not even heard of it.
Yeah, just watch. If you're a girly, watch Skinny Girl in Transit. It's nice. It's on YouTube.
Skinny Girl on Transit.
In Transit.
Yeah. I am the 5th one now.
Where? Pressure. I'm done.
You're done? Okay.
Kwa hizo amesema najua tu Real Households of Kawangware.
Same. That's all I know. Aya.
Niko shocked hata yani first attempt ashajua
I
what
know.
Debra is talking about.
Smart people behind the scenes. I think to sort of wind up the, I don't want to call it an interview, but this session that we've had, mara mingi watu wanaambiwa your parting shot, a word of advice to anyone who is getting into the data analytics field. I'd want you to talk to someone who is, first of all, getting into the data analytics field, and a young lady who is still trying. I'm going to be a bit biased and focus on ladies, yeah. So a young lady who is still trying to maneuver this world of opportunities and jobs, and maybe is kwenye yako saizi ana feel a bit confused, sijui ninataka kufanya nini, sijui nataka kwenda wapi, what do I do, where do I start. Yeah, so that will be sort of your parting shot. Yeah.
The beauty of youth is you have a long life ahead of you. So that's your opportunity. So I would say learn. Take every opportunity to learn. It's easy to complain, but you can't complain forever, regardless of what it is. So learn. Hata kama ni hiyo photocopying, go learn. Do it well as you look for other opportunities. The beauty as well of our age is you can learn from anywhere. Kuna courses, universities offer free courses. You can sign up for those as long as you have bundles, electricity, which most of us do have. Go learn. And then talk to people. I think nilikuwa naambia Larry sai, huwezi jua neighbor wako anafanyanga job gani. Unaweza jua tu huyo ni ule msee mwenye anaishi 5th floor, 4th floor, whatever. But the more you talk to people, the more unajua, huyu msee anafanyanga hivi. Ndio muuliza maswali, right? Because hautajua opportunity yako inatoka wapi. So don't be afraid to try. Don't limit yourself. Don't look down on people because you do not know huyo msee anafanya nini yako wapi. So I would say learn. Don't be afraid to learn. Yeah.
Unajua venye stima imepotea. Tumekaa hapa sasa, of course tumepause. Tukatalk about solar na Debs. Debs akaniambia, in fact nikamwambia sasa mimi naeka solar. Debs akaniambia in fact kuna batteries mbili kwa home and I need to replace it.
Yeah.
I'll just send you a quote.
That's just how you've landed the job.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
Caught attention at all costs. That's what.
No.
Episode 1.
Caught attention at all costs. It has been that's a quote that
Hata pia
corporate power play. So please buy that book. Tuliwaambia episode 1 nunue hiyo kitabu.
Something else. She's asked about hiyo paper iko hapa nyuma. Kwa mimi ndo niliweka. Akaniambia she has a project. Tatuma quote.
Caught attention. You see, I think atusemi umse ni moist, but I mean hiyo kitabu iko na vitu mingi. So I think with that we can wrap up this session. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your gems with us. I hope we're going to call you here again. Probably talk about a different thing because I know unakuanga very passionate about teenagers and all of that. Tunajua hata watawatch, so we will call you for particularly talk to teenagers. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you and may God bless you. And to you, our listeners, we appreciate you so much for getting to this point. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to us. We thank you for the feedback that we're getting, especially on the previous episodes. Do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Share it to as many WhatsApp groups as possible because we are aiming to grow and grow and grow. And we can only do that through your support. Also, do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms beyond the pulpit. Kenya _Kenya on Instagram, BTP Kenya on TikTok, on all streaming platforms, podcast streaming platforms, Spotify, BTP Kenya. So go listen to us. Kama utaki kutuwatch on YouTube, pia you can just listen to us as you're driving to work or whatever, man. Ukichill tu kwa hao. Also, our personal Instagram pages are going to be linked, so do not forget to follow us. na huko tunakwanga tumepost ma BTS nini, so usitake kuachwa nyuma. Thank you so much, may God bless you, and we shall see you again when we upload episode 3. Bye.
Bye bye.